the healing miracles of Jesus. Dearly beloved friends, welcome once again to Haven of the Word. Today I invite you to settle into a comfortable place. Let your breathing slow and open your heart to a story of hope and healing. We will take our time and gently walk through 5 remarkable miracles of Jesus Christ, stories that reveal not only His power but also His tender compassion. These are not distant tales locked away in history. They are living testimonies of His presence and His willingness to touch every hurting life. As you listen, imagine the scene. Feel the dust of the road under your feet. Hear the murmur of the crowd and sense the warm gaze of Jesus as He draws near. May each story bring light to your mind and peace to your heart. Cleansing the leper. In the days of Jesus, leprosy was a sentence of loneliness. Those afflicted were pushed outside the town, forbidden to embrace their children, unable to pray inside the temple. Whenever another person came near, they were forced to cover their mouths and cry out, "Unclean! Unclean!" Imagine the shame, the isolation, the ache of wanting just one human touch. Yet one man, broken but brave, walked toward Jesus. Kneeling low in the dust, he whispered with trembling hope, "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Gasped. No rabbi would come close. But Jesus did not draw back. Instead, He reached out His hand, a warm, steady hand, and laid it on skin. No one else would touch softly. He spoke, "I am willing. Be clean." In an instant, the man's skin became whole. The sores vanished, his heart overflowed with joy. Friends, this is the heart of Christ, to reach out when everyone else steps away, to call us beloved when we feel unworthy. His touch still cleanses and restores today. Raising the man at Bethesda. Near the sheep gate in Jerusalem was a pool called Bethesda. 5 covered porches sheltered a crowd of people who were blind, crippled, or sick. Among them lay a man who had not walked for 38 years. Day after day, he watched others rush into the water when it stirred, believing they might be healed. But he had no one to lift him, no strength to move himself. "Sir," he would say, "I have no one to help me." His words carried decades of disappointment. One day, Jesus approached and, with eyes full of understanding, asked, "Do you want to be made well?" The man barely dared to hope. Then Jesus spoke with quiet authority, "Rise, take up your mat and walk." Suddenly, life surged into his useless legs. He stood. He bent to pick up his mat. He took one step, then another after nearly 4 decades of waiting. Around him, the crowd murmured, astonished. This is who Jesus is, the one who sees the person. No one helps, the one who brings fresh strength to the weary. No situation is too old or too impossible for His mercy. Opening the eyes of the man born blind. As Jesus walked along, He noticed a man blind from birth. The disciples, reflecting common thinking, asked, "Who sinned this man, or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus answered, "This happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him." Then He knelt, spat on the ground, and with His fingers mixed clay. Gently He placed the cool mud on the man's closed eyes and said, "Go, wash in the pool of Siloam." Still blind, the man set off, feeling his way step by step. He reached the pool, knelt down, and splashed water over his face. As he washed, light burst in. He blinked, squinted, and for the first time, saw the rippling water, the bright sky, the faces of people around him. He could not hold back his joy. He shouted, laughed, and gave glory to God. If you find yourself in darkness today, whether of body, mind, or spirit, remember, Jesus is the light who opens our eyes. He can bring clarity and hope where there was only shadow, loosing the tongue and ears. Another day, people brought to Jesus a man who was deaf and could hardly speak. They begged Jesus to lay His hand upon him. Taking the man aside, away from the crowd, Jesus placed his fingers into the man's ears, touched his tongue with his own saliva, looked up to heaven, and with a deep sigh, said, "Ephphatha," that is, "be opened." Immediately the man's ears were opened. Sounds he had never heard flooded in the whisper of wind in the trees, the laughter of children, the murmur of voices. His tongue loosened and he spoke plainly for the first time. Picture the joy of hearing a loved one's voice, of finally being able to say thank you aloud. That is the gift Christ gave. Sometimes our spiritual ears and mouths are closed too. We do not hear God's whisper, we do not speak our praise. But when Jesus says be open to our hearts, we can hear again and sing again. Healing the woman with the issue of blood. For 12 years a woman had endured constant bleeding. She had spent all her savings on doctors but grew worse instead of better. Weak, shunned, and ashamed, she still held one small hope: if I can only touch his cloak, I will be healed. One day Jesus passed through her town. A crowd pressed around him. Quietly she pushed forward her heart, pounding, and reached out a trembling hand to touch the edge of his garment. Instantly the bleeding stopped. Strength flowed back into her body. She knew she was healed. Jesus turned and asked, "Who touched me?" The woman came forward trembling and told her story. Jesus looked at her with kindness and said, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace." Even the smallest trembling faith is precious to him. You need not be bold or perfect, just reach out. His power still flows today. Beloved friends, as we have slowly walked through these 5 miracles, we have seen the heart of Jesus reaching the untouchable, lifting the forgotten, opening blind eyes, unlocking closed ears and lips, honoring even the faintest faith. These are not distant stories. They are windows into his living presence right now. When your body aches, when your heart feels weary, when darkness surrounds you, the same Jesus stretches out his hand to heal and restore. He is near. He is willing. As you go from this moment, may you feel his hand in yours, his peace in your mind, and his hope rising within you. Thank you for joining me at Haven of the Word. Until we meet again, may God's grace surround you and his blessing rest upon your life. Thank you.